All right, so hey, I'm Nick.
I'm Corbin.
And then, yeah, I'm going to try something new, probably make some YouTube videos with some different friends. We're just going to see how this goes. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the divisional rounds of the NFL playoffs this week. First game we'll be starting off with is the Saturday game, the 6-seeded Colts visiting the number 1 seeded Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs won 31-13. So, Corbin, is this bad Colts or good Chiefs?
Honestly, I think it's a good Chiefs. The Chiefs defense really showed up. They have come a long way since November 19th game against the Rams, 54-51, but they win this game against Andrew Luck and the Colts 31-13. So the coaching should probably be considered here as part of why the Chiefs look good. They had a game plan that really shut down the Colts. What the Colts normally do, they could not do in this game. Andrew Luck couldn't get off the ground very much. He did decent, but he couldn't really show his greatness. And T.Y. Hilton was basically non-existent for most of the game. Beyond that, Mahomes only had to throw for 278 yards. And for him, somebody that threw for 5,000 yards this season and threw 50 touchdowns, and he didn't have to throw a passing touchdown in this game. Clearly, the offense didn't have to win this. They didn't have to try that hard. Mahomes didn't even have to give 100%. Probably the MVP of the league was basically able to take a cakewalk, and the Chiefs still won convincingly. They only gave up 263 yards as a team to the Colts. Andrew Luck had 200 of those passing, and they had like 60 from Marlon Mack rushing. That's a good defensive play. I think that is why the Chiefs won, is that it was a good Chiefs.
Okay, I would probably have to disagree. I'm going with bad Colts here. They really couldn't get anything going. They couldn't be consistent enough to put a drive together until like very end of the first half. And honestly, the cold weather probably could have gotten to Andrew Luck's hurt shoulder. But really what surprised me, even though it was bad Colts, what did surprise me was how impressive Mahomes was in the cold. I tried to research before the game, and I couldn't find a single game that he's played in his career in the cold or in the snow. He's played like under 40 degrees before and in freezing games, but he's never played in the snow, which is obviously different. You get hit, you get on the ground, you're in the snow, your body's feeling it. He was changing plays at the line. He literally looked like Peyton Manning. He constantly got them in the right situations. And even the Colts defense, they run a zone scheme in which they give up a lot of big plays, but they're built to get big plays back. Besides a block punt they got, which is really special teams, they really didn't get any big plays on defense. A few meaningless sacks here and there, but at the end of the day, I think the Chiefs really dominated this game.
Yeah. So, I mean, Mahomes, Texas Tech, I know he didn't get much snow down in Texas, so for sure. Now, what about the Cowboys and Rams? We had number 2 seed Rams look impressive all year against number 4 seed Cowboys, America's team, if you really want to call them that. Rams go on to win 30-22. It didn't seem that close during most of the game, though, to me. Now, do you think it's time for the Cowboys to move on? They failed year after year, it seems like. Should they move on? Should they move on from Dak? What about maybe Jason Garrett? What do you think?
Well, they 100% should have moved on for Jason Garrett probably a few years ago. But right now, I do believe that the Cowboys need to not sign Dak to an extension. They have to move on from Dak if they actually want to win. I think they have a really good young core. Amari Cooper is a good young receiver. Zeke is, he may arguably be the best pure running back in the NFL. That's the best young running back at least. I don't think Dak can get it done. He shows flashes, but at the end of the day, he can't get it done. Tannehill shows flashes. Derek Carr shows flashes. I don't think those are really franchise quarterbacks. Some of them even get extended. They play good enough to get an extension, but they don't play good enough to take you home.
Yeah, I think that's a good call for the most part as far as evaluating Dak, but I don't think that Dak is the problem. I think that I don't think he's a superstar necessarily, but I don't think he's the reason the Cowboys are losing. I think that it's a coaching problem. Dak had a decent game. He's 20 of 32, 266 yards, a touchdown. He didn't make a bunch of mistakes. He didn't lose them the game. He got a touchdown. He had 83 QBR, 99 QB rating. He outplayed Jared Goff in this game. But the problem is, even though they gave the ball to Zeke 20 times, he didn't have that many yards. He's one of the best, like you said, pure running backs in the league, but he couldn't do anything. To me, that says that it's not the player's fault. It's the scheme. It tells me that the coaching is the problem. They've got a great running back. They've got a decent quarterback. They've got now a great wide receiver in Amari Cooper. And they still got beat handily. I think it's a scheme problem. The defense getting destroyed by the Rams rushing is another problem. C.J. Anderson was making them look silly. C.J. Anderson, When that boy played in Denver, he looked like he couldn't do anything, but he was out there
I
making
don't.
the
I,
other night.
I'm not talking
So
about C.J. Anderson.
yeah, exactly. So if C.J. Anderson's making you look bad, that is a coaching problem. Their defense is good. The fact that they're getting ripped apart, offense and defense, I don't know. That tells me it's coaching. So I think they got to move on from Jason Garrett.
Okay. To start off Sunday, 1:00 game. The number 3 Chargers visit the number 2 New England Patriots. Patriots won 41-28, but it never seemed that close. So what is it about the Patriots? They're 12-1 in divisional rounds under Tom Brady. Pretty much, we need to stop playing the divisional round with the Patriots. Just let them move on. It's over. What are your opinions on it? What is it about the
Yeah.
Patriots?
I don't know, man. Since I was like in middle school as an Eagles fan, when they played Donovan McNabb, Terrell Owens against Tom Brady, and they lost that Super Bowl, I just have had a hard time dealing with the Patriots. But they have been good since that time. They've still been good. They've won the divisional round every time. It's ridiculous. But I know we give a lot of credit to Tom Brady, and he's pretty good. Not gonna say he's like not great, but Bill Belichick, I think, is definitely the root of their success. Their scheme is so unique. The running backs are involved all over the place. If you look today, I think Tom Brady had some 30-something completions, and like 15 of them were to James White, much less how many of them were to Sony Michel, who also had like a jillion carries for 130 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like they just use the running back so creatively and so thoughtfully that they're working around all the defenses throughout the game. The Pats coaching is the reason that they're looking that good. They have made the small receiving running back popular in the NFL. I think that's why you see people like Tariq Cohen and Darren Sproles, even though Darren Sproles has played for a while, becoming more of the norm. Having a running back and having a receiving running back on team. I think the Pats are the reason for that. And that is, I think, their crucial factor about why they keep winning.
Yeah, 100%. I noticed early in the game that the Pats' route trees were just absolutely brilliant. Julian Edelman, James White, they were just open by like 5 feet. That's just easy gains. They're constantly going to get first downs at that rate. I think Phillip Rivers was getting hit early and often. He kept getting knocked down and pressured. And I could tell at some plays he was a little frantic in the pocket. He would throw the ball on the ground. He didn't want to get hit. It was cold. It's cold in Foxborough in January. You could tell he didn't want to get hit, and that's why the home field advantage is such a big deal for the Patriots every year. I think that you just come there and it's just business as usual for them.
I mean, you're right. I think Phillip Rivers was pressure early. He threw 51 passes because they were down so fast. So it's a good call. Now, Eagles and Saints was the last game of the weekend for the divisional round. You had Nick Foles coming in, champion for the Eagles, looking like David against Goliath, and the Saints and Drew Brees. The 1-seed Saints, 6-seed Eagles. Was there going to be magic again? It looked like it for a little bit toward the end of the game there, but Saints end up pulling it out 20-14. To you, did the Saints impress, or did they just survive this game against the Eagles and Nick Foles?
I can't remember a time where a team survived more. I'm at the beginning of the week, I was so excited to see these 4 games play. I thought these 4 games were a really exciting divisional round. I was literally looking forward to every single game. But I thought if there was a single upset to happen in the weekend, I thought it would lie here. I tweeted about it early in the week. Actually, as soon as the Eagles beat the Bears last week, I tweeted Nick Foles would go to New Orleans and beat the Saints in their stadium. The Eagles obviously started off with amazing momentum, and I wanted them to win so badly. They were up 14-0, but then the second quarter comes around and they really start to lose it. I think the Saints really started to gain momentum via injuries and big plays. I think it was something crazy like in the game in the first half, 7 of the Eagles starters got hurt. I mean, a few of them returned, but a few of them not, and that's obviously going to take some momentum away when you're having backups in. You're having to teach them on the fly. I saw Breeze – also, I did see Breeze miss a few touchdowns. One was actually for a pick early in the game that put the Eagles up 14-0. But when the Saints got the momentum, the Eagles really couldn't get off the field. Even after they were getting holding calls by the Saints and they were getting put in good positions – there was two notable ones. There was a 3rd and 16 play where Michael Thomas got the conversion, and another 3rd and 13 play where Michael Thomas also got the conversion. So I really just think they gained momentum and never gave it away. Besides at the very end where, I mean, Alshon Jeffrey, that's tough. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, those 4th downs early in the game too were big for the Saints. And if I said at all impressed, it would just be because of their willingness to take a risk, and that's just Sean Payton's MO from the beginning. just even from when they won the Super Bowl before in 2009.
Yeah.
That was just his thing. He just risks it, and it worked for them. But honestly, I think that was the only thing that was impressive. Otherwise, they just survived. Breeze looked decent. He matched 300 yards, but he didn't look like he was blowing the doors off. More than that, the running game looked weak, and they've had such a focus on the running game this year with that tandem of Kamara and Ingram. It looked average in this game against the Eagles. They could have easily lost this game, and that's including the fact that the Eagles' offense didn't perform that well. Nick Foles played okay. He just had a hot start, but then was weak the rest of the game. The running game for the Eagles did nothing. And the Saints still could have lost that game if it wasn't for Alshon Jeffrey just eating a Butterfingers before that last drive. So he had a good game, but they had a tough survival. Real quick before we move on, do you think the Bears, just in a word, do you think the Bears could have beat the Saints?
No, I don't believe so. I think the Saints defense probably would have ran wild on Mitchell Trubisky.
Okay, that's fair. I think the Bears would have won, but it's just me. All right.
Yeah, Alshon Jeffrey definitely catches that ball 99 out of 100 times. It's really heartbreaking that he didn't. I think if he did make that catch, I'm not going to lie, I think the Eagles would be in the NFC Championship game next week. So who are your picks for next week for the Conference Championship games?
Oh, man, I'm going to have to go NFC. I think Rams, like I said, Saints didn't impress me. I thought they survived. The Rams looked like they had foot on the gas the whole game. They were able to win handily just running the ball all game. So if they can have any running success against the Saints, I think the passing is going to be there. And Todd Gurley, he's going to be more healthy coming another week of rest and stuff like that. So I think he's going to shine, and they're going to win that game against the Saints. But for the AFC, I'm going to call the Kansas City Chiefs. That's my toughest pick. That's going to be a close game, I think. If the Kansas City defense can even kind of match what they did this week, I know they're playing a much better team, but if they can even kind of stop the New England running backs a little bit, then it's going to be on the shoulders of Edelman and Gronkowski. And those are good players. But if New England's playbook, which is so running back centered, is limited by a little bit, then I think Kansas City offense is going to get their points. Mahomes is going to show up. He might even throw behind the back pass. I don't know. I saw a report on that. If he does that, I'll go insane. But I'm pulling for watching. Yeah, I'll just never watch him again. Just be over. But yeah, I think I'm pulling for Kansas City. I think they're going to win the AFC.
Oh, I love the NFL because I got the flip. I can't bet against Bill Belichick and Tom Brady in January. They're a better playoff team. They're definitely a better cold weather team. I think they go into Arrowhead and win this weekend at the Chiefs. And I think Patrick Mahomes will make some mistakes in this game. He didn't really make many against the Colts, but he didn't have many mistakes to make. So I definitely think we'll see some mistakes from him. On the NFC side, I think the Saints, they're really going to figure out some offense here. I think they got to get the running backs going. If they can get Kamara and get Ingram going, they're winning that football game against the Rams. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so if that's your conference championship, who do you think is most likely to win Super Bowl? So after you watch this week and you got those picks for your conference championship, who you got for the Super Bowl right now?
Yeah, so I made a bracket at the very beginning of the playoffs, and my Super Bowl was Patriots-Saints. I'm sticking with it like you heard, but I got the Saints winning the Super Bowl in Atlanta against the Patriots. I think the more Saints fans will be in Atlanta. It's a closer distance drive, and there are a lot of Saints fans around here. So I got the Saints winning that one.
That's fair. I think I have whoever wins the AFC. I think it's going to be Kansas City, so I'm picking Kansas City. If they have a decent scheme, again, stop New England, I think that they can beat the Rams or the Saints. I would like to see another Kansas City Los Angeles Rams game. That would be insane. It'd be a great Super Bowl to watch. But I'm going to have to pick whichever AFC team comes out, and I just, from the bottom of my heart, cannot pick the Pats in any circumstance, but I also just think that Kansas City will win. So I'm picking Kansas City on that Super Bowl.
Man, imagine my pick, Pats Saints. That'd be like your worst nightmare for a Falcons fan, huh?
Yeah.
Who would you rather win? You want the Saints celebrating in the Falcons locker room, or do you want the Patriots to be celebrating?
Oh my gosh!
Still in Atlanta though.
Well, luckily I go to school in New Orleans, so I'm going Saints. Maybe I can hit up some of my professors and say congrats on the title. I don't think I can ever cheer for the Pats to win another Super Bowl. They've had their fair share. We got to give this to somebody else, okay?
Yeah.